So you can finally get out of the house and you want to take one of your Elektron boxes or maybe another Groove box with you, and it's not battery powered. Well, how can you do that? Hey everybody, welcome back. My name's Eric and I'm an electronic music producer and performer from Denver, Colorado. And I just wanted to talk to you today about something that jumped into my mind this weekend because we actually had a massive blizzard here where I live and the power went out for a while. And I was thinking to myself, what can I do to make music with the power out? I can use my laptop, but I don't really want to do that. I want to use one of my boxes. And that got me thinking that I'm sure there's others of you out there who had the same idea. And I thought about this a few months ago, so I picked up a couple pieces of equipment and a few different tips in order to power some of my boxes without power. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm sure you've all seen these USB power supply. They make these for charging your phone, charging your laptop, things like that. But they also can, if they're the right ones, they can charge some of your outboard DAWless equipment. In order for that to happen, you're going to need one piece of kind of specialty equipment. This guy right here. This is from a company called MyVolts. They are from Switzerland, I think, and they put out this thing that is called a ripcord. They make these for all different sorts of equipment, and the idea is that this is something that is USB on one side, so you can plug it into a USB power supply, and then it has a regular DC plug on the other side. Now, these plugs are all different, as you know, depending on what kind of power demand your device has. Each one of these is made for a different power level. So how do you know which one you need? Well, first thing you can do is you can go to the MyVolts website. They've got a great tool. You can enter in actually the brand and the actual specific piece of equipment, and it'll pop up which one you need. The other thing you can do is if you look on your box, for example, on our Digitakt here, if you look on the back right here where the power supply is, you'll see that it says 12 volt, 1 amp. And that is the power draw, the power need this has. So because of that, we need to have a 12 volt ripcord. Another thing that's important to note too is you want to check out on your equipment on the back, and it will say whether or not the positive is on the inside or on the outside of this little plug. Also, when you order from MyVolts, they will know if you put in what the piece of equipment you have is, and they sell a little adapter. So if you need the positive on the inside or the positive on the outside, they'll know whether or not that needs an adapter, and they'll actually ship that with your ripcord. Next thing that's important to know is once you know which ripcord you need, and you go ahead and go to their site and you figure out, okay, I need to order that and I need to get that in. The next thing you need is you need to get a power supply. Now, you may have one of these kicking around for your phone or for other things. The important things to note on these, when they have multiple USB ports on them like this, multiple charging ports, they have different power outputs from each one. When you're charging a phone, because the power demand is so little, it generally will power out of any one of the ports. So you may have never even noticed that these had different power levels on them. But what's interesting, for example, with this RAV Power one that I have here, 2 of the ports will power my Digitakt and 1 of them will not. And so if, for example, you were to plug it into the one that doesn't have enough power coming out of it, and then you plug it into the Digitakt and you try and turn it on, it will just cycle the opening boot up screen. So if you plug this into the wrong port on your power supply here, which I have this plugged into the lowest power version, and you try and turn it on, it will do this. Nothing. Right? But if we swap it over to the higher power port on the same brick, switch it on, and look at that. So there you have it. Battery power, and you can take this with you. So what's great about this is that you can take it with you if you want, or you can operate when the power goes out, like I did. It's great for taking it on a flight, which a lot of times you don't have a way to plug something in on a flight. Most airlines don't have that. So with this, you'd be able to bring along your power supply, as long as the airlines let you bring a power supply like that in your carry-on. Bring along your power supply, and then if you're on a long flight, you can continue to work on music. If you want to go out and work in the middle of the woods, you want to go to the beach, you want to go to the top of a mountain, you want to go camping somewhere, whatever you like. It's a great way to be able to get your music production or music grooving, jamming piece of equipment and being able to use it in a different area than just always using it in your dark basement music studio like I do, or just in your bedroom, or just at your kitchen table. So it's great if you're looking for a change of scenery, some new inspiration. You can take your machines out and play with them anywhere else. If you want to do a live performance, or maybe a recording, or maybe produce a track out in nature somewhere, this is a great way to do it. It is also important to note that this works with other machines besides the Digitakt. All right, so here's the exact same setup with the Octatrack. If you take this, see, same setup here, same power supply, switch it on. And there we go, just like that. Just to show you what this does with the Octatrack, if you plug this into the wrong USB plug on the back of your power supply, the one that's the lower power one, it'll just cycle. You see it just flashes and it doesn't quite turn all the way on. And that's what these machines do if you plug it into the wrong part of the power supply. Another thing that's important to note is that this particular method doesn't work with the Analog 4 Mark II or the Analog Rytm Mark II. It's because those draw a bit more power than these machines do. Ripcord has just come out with a new device that they call a doubler, and I'll link to that in the description below, as well as to the ripcord and the power supply and things like that if you'd like to check those out. And what the doubler does is it allows you to get a second one of these 12-volt ripcords and plug the two of them into two of the outlets on the same power brick, and then plug those into the doubler and plug the doubler into the back of your Analog Rytm Mark II or your Analog 4 Mark II, and it will power those using two of these, but still with the same brick. So you don't have to get a second brick, you just need to get a second ripcord and the doubler. So one other thing you might want to know is about how long you can operate using one of these bricks. So it really depends on how many milliamp hours or watt hours your individual power brick has. So you want to take a look on the back. You're going to have all of the specs right here. A couple of important things that this tells you. You have the three different outputs. One is 1 amp, 5 watts. That's the one that doesn't work with these. The second one is 2.1 amps, 10.5 watts. That works for both machines, as well as the Digitone as well. And then the next one is 2.4 amps, 12 watts. Some of these will have multiple 2.4 amp outputs. Those are the strongest ones, and those will actually be guaranteed that they're going to run your machine. And then when we were talking about the amount of power, so this one has 26,800 milliamp hours, 99.16 watt hours. Now with this brick, with a full charge, I've run my Digitakt for about 5 hours, and I still hadn't used up all the battery. I'd only used about 2/3 of the battery, so I haven't quite run it all the way down. I'll try to run that all the way down and maybe do a little edit to this video later on. But just so you know, plenty of time to mess around outside, take it to a coffee shop, go out in the middle of the woods or something like that. So basically this is a great way to get these out and mobile with a different kind of battery supply, since they're not designed with batteries, like say an Ovation circuit or something like that. But because they are really small and really flexible and light and easy to move around, it's great to stick these in a backpack, take it to a coffee shop or something like that. So keep in mind, check your power supply, make sure that it has enough power, at least 2.1 amps and preferably 2.4 amps of output from at least one of the USB outputs. The more milliamp hours you have, the longer you're going to be able to use it. And you want to make sure that when you get your ripcord, that you get the one that's right for the machine that you have, the right voltage. 12 volts is the one that you want for any of the Elektron machines, and then there's other sizes for other machines. And then you want to make sure also that you have either the adapter or whether or not you need the adapter for the positive internal or positive external, depending on how your device is. With the Elektron boxes, they don't need that adapter. I know with some of the others, they do. So you just want to double check depending on what your device is. Hope you got something useful out of this video, and if you'd like to get some more information on Elektron machines, DAW setups, working in the DAW, Ableton Live, music production, the electronic music industry, and gigging and things like that in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit the little notification bell so you get notified every time we put out another video. Thanks very much for stopping by again, and hope to see you in the next video. Peace.